Good morning, my fellow bakers and friends of Tuesday 10 at 10. I am your host, Richard Charpentier. I'm the owner and founder of Baking Innovation, a consulting product development business, and filling in today for Dr. Lynn Carson for a great Tuesday 10 at 10. And if you have not yet, please join the bakery community and become a member of BAKERpedia. It's free to join, and it's great resources. 34 years of experience in the bakery industry. I've seen a lot of things and trial and errored a lot of things, and that's why we're here to share that knowledge to you. And it's free. And so those are questions that were submitted to me. So we'll get started. So first question, citric acid. What is citric acid and its role in industrial biscuits? So what is citric acid? So first of all, it's used in biscuits. It's used to basically as an antimicrobial inhibitor. So anti-mold. So it controls the mold by lowering the overall pH. It's the name entails. It's citric acid. It's an acid. It has a interesting point on citric acid. Its melt point, it's 307 degree Fahrenheit, so it's way past boiling point, which is 212, and 153 Celsius, which is 37. It's basically a weak organic acid. It's basically derived from citrus fruits, which its name entails citric. So, and also it has a boiling point of 347 Fahrenheit, which is 175 Celsius. And 84% solubility at 212 degree Fahrenheit. So it means like you have to boil it for it to be soluble, 84%. So when you put it in product, you have residual. So it's important to look at particle size. Check the particle size unless you want to dissolve and put it in your water. But remember, it's an acid, so don't mix an acid with yeast. So, but great question for biscuits. So used as a anti-mold preservation system. So thank you. And more questions, just go dig around on BAKERpedia. Dr. Lynn answered a lot of great questions on acids and other great topics. So next question. Can you please explain redox agents in bakery production? Redox, what are we talking about? Redox, and again, great, as I just mentioned, great topic on the forum. Lots of bakery help. Again, it's free information, but let's talk about it. Oxidation reduction reaction is basically, it's the removal, or it seems basically to involve of a transfer of electrons that would produce a electrical that can be measured. So it's a withdrawal and the addition of hydrogen, and it's a change basically involving the gain of electrons. So it's pretty much, it allows you to improve the baking quality of flour. That's what it does. You know, the scientist thinks is, you know, the removal of electron, but a lot of the time we're using, you know, bakery flours and they're milled very fresh. We don't take the time like the bakers back in the days, they would take, I worked this way, we would take a pallet of flour and basically store it for a minimum of 3 months, and we will rotate. So we had a basically small area where we could put pallets. But now flours you're getting, it's quick. You know, it's quick production, it's milled, it's fairly fresh. It doesn't allow to fully mature. So by putting redox, it allows to improve the baking properties of flour. So, and it's often added at the mill, or people, you know, could add it themselves. And so, but that's what redox do to baking. It helps with, you know, again, sharing electrons, but it's also its main purpose for bakers is to improve the baking quality of flour. So moving on to the next question. question talking for tortilla and creating a spray of vinegar and potassium spray to help in the production of tortillas and to improve the shelf life of tortillas. Tortillas always are issues, and as well aware, a lot of people use different things to preserve tortillas. But basically, if you do topical spray, meaning it has to be applied when misted, when tortillas are coming out, and to have a system that can mist it on the tortillas where it's hot enough on the surface area where it would just make the water, the excess water, evaporate and basically let the salts basically dehydrate, and that's create those potassium and vinegar salt will create a sort of a barrier for molds. And if you, as a rule of thumb, you can find it online, people will use potassium sorbate and dissolve it in warm water because you increase the chance of solubility at a 25% ratio. So, and what, if you want best performance, it's pKa of the vinegar for potassium sorbate is 4.7 of a pH. So then if you regulate with the vinegar, the pH of your water with a 25% solution, you'll have better preservation method that you can make. But again, the key is going to be misting. If you put too much water, you might create mold issues and everything. So it's not a guarantee. If you want more help, there's consulting page. You can hire a consultant for 30 minutes, for an hour, and we can talk to you about maybe designing a better system for you. So keep that in mind. Now, the last question for tonight is we're talking about dextrose, and what are the texture changes happening with when you bake with dextrose. So first of all, dextrose is a crystalline sugar, and it is 75% the sweetness of sugar. It's not as soluble as sugar. And that's why people, because of the solubilization of dextrose, it's being used a lot in cookies, cakes, icing, fillings, toppings, because it has a texture-wise, it's going to be, people refer to dextrose as like having that cooling effect. And they put into the candies you'll find when, if you want a cooling effect, because dextrose will give you that dry sort of cooling effect on the tongue. From a texture standpoint, it's going to change the caramelization point, is going to change the color of your product, and although having that cool sort of texture filling that you will get, that's the main. And the color difference, again, that's what I would say we will see when baking with dextrose for what I mentioned. Again, I will wrap it up. Thank you very much, my friends, for again listening for Tuesday 10 at 10. And please keep baking and keep on sending those great questions. And I love answering them for you. You take care. Bye-bye.